The contentious administrative court of the Archipelago Department of San Andres, Old Providence, and Santa Catalina resolved a request for a precautionary measure against the two paragraphs of the ordinance by which the state social enterprise that currently operates the departmental hospital was created.
Teleislas News was informed of Order 0173 by which the Administrative Court of the Department of San Andres, Old Providence and Santa Catalina decrees the provisional suspension of legal effect of second paragraph of Article 8 and the transitory paragraph of Article 9 containing the Ordinance 005 of July 29 of 2020 year issued by the Departmental Assembly of San Andres, Old Providence and Santa Catalina, by which a state social enterprise of the department order is created and other provisions are issued. The request for the precautionary measure was filed by Mr. Guillermo Alfonso Pertus Patron because he considers that the second paragraph of Article 8 and the transitory paragraph first of Article 9 of the Ordinance number 005 of 2020 flagrantly contravene the provisions of higher norms. In such a sense, it points out that the Assembly of the Department of San Andres Island and the Governor lack the competence to include these provisions outside the legal framework of the single decree of the Health and Social Protection sector in the Decree 780 of 2016. In this way, it maintains that said paragraph resigned the legal mandate in the confirmation of the boards of directors for the territorial state social enterprise with their members. The Archipelago Department of San Andres, Old Providence and Santa Catalina and the Departmental Assembly may appeal against the precautionary measure for the provisional suspension.
Today, Nicaragua responded to the counterclaims presented by Colombia in the oral hearings at the International Court of Justice.
The oral hearings at The Hague continue. On this occasion, Nicaragua answered the counterclaims presented by Colombia on Wednesday, 22nd of September, on the lawsuit filed by Nicaragua, alleging that Colombia had violated its sovereignty rights. In this case, Nicaragua claims are not about territorial sovereignty or areas of maritime jurisdiction, but about certain action of Colombia in this ruling. Among the arguments presented by the Central American country today is that Nicaragua has always been willing to recognize the rights of the rights all over maritime space, as long as Colombia recognized the limits established by the court in 2012. Likewise, the Nicaraguan defense team stated that many of the spaces that Colombia claims are of important economic development of the Raizal people are not among the spaces discussed in the litigation. In addition, they allege that Colombia has not been able to demonstrate the rights of the Raizal people in this territory or that Nicaragua has intervened in the fishing activities of the Raizal people in these areas. That is to say that there is no evidence such as radio recordings or diplomatic notes. The second round of the case begins on Monday, September 27 and will be divided as follows. Monday 27, Nicaragua presents its closing arguments on the merits of the case. Wednesday 29, first part, Colombia will respond to Nicaragua closing arguments and the merits of the case that Nicaragua said on Monday 27. Wednesday 29, second part, Colombia will support its closing arguments on the counterclaims. Friday 1st of October, Nicaragua will close the hearings by responding to Colombia's counterclaims. After these 2 weeks of hearings, the International Court of Justice will issue a ruling which may take several months according to its own schedule.
Oswaldo Madariaga Archibald has been re-elected as director of the OCRE. Madariaga in previous days has already informed this news agency that he would run again as director of the OCRE since there was still a lot of work to be done in the entity. During the morning, the decision of the Board of Directors of the Office of Control of Circulation and Residence was announced, winning for another year with 10 votes in favor. And public and private entities and the community participates in the preparatory meetings for effective response to events generated by different natural phenomena.
Approximately 45 public and private sectors entities have participated in 2 preparatory meetings led by the Disaster Risk Management Unit in San Andres in preparation for the national drill on the island. The most important prevention exercise of the year is aimed to providing guidelines to citizens in general about different actions for self-protection against events that may happen around us.
This year, we will have the participation of the first time of 2 communities such as the Community Action Board of Guinea Hen, 4th Stage, and some residents of the southern sector of the island in the Blowing Hole, which practically, when we have the presence of hurricanes, cyclones, and tropical waves, are the most affected. Therefore, we will do a very special exercise with them, which is the self-shelter.
Those indicated that several hotels and native inns have also been linked to this activity, through which they will specify next week the key aspect of coordination and communication that allows our participants to have an effective response to the events that will be simulated.
Next week, we will have defined the scenarios that each entity will create. They will activate the brigades, their evaluation routes, their meeting points.
Parallel to the national drill, the regional coordinator of the National Unit for Disaster and Risk Management highlighted advances in the preparation of temporary shelters.
Regarding the temporary shelters, the conditioning of the Bolivariano School and the Flores Hill School was completed. Next week, we are going to review them together with the contractor to see how they are, to prove that these structures are properly ready in case they need to be used. And we are also going to see if we can appropriate some resources to mitigate other temporary shelters that are very important for the community in general.
In general terms, from the organization of the activity, they expect to count on the active participation of the community in general. It is also expected that citizens take the drill very seriously and in a preventive manner, taking into consideration the history of Hurricanes Eta and Iota.
Companies in Trajectory Mega was launched this morning by the Chamber of Commerce, a methodology to improve the strategies of entrepreneurs and businessmen to move forward with their companies.
This is a program that started in the city of Bogota about 18 years ago and for the last 2 years has been implemented throughout the country. The idea of this program is to approach entrepreneurs and give them a chance to talk about their strategy in order to create methodologies that help them improve in their field.
Lo más importante es que esto es una metodología que se hace desde...
The most important thing is that this is a methodology from the entrepreneurs for the entrepreneurs. That is, the language is 100% entrepreneurial, not from consultants or advisors. There are mentors who will accompany the process, who are generally presidents or managers of companies that will teach other entrepreneurs how to develop the methodology and above all how to advance quickly in the fulfillment of goals that will challenge them to dream big.
Angelica Chapeton, an employee of a well-known company on the island, who actively participated in this process a year ago, described her experience.
A nice experience. We agency was we beginning last year in January 2020 and we finished in June of 2021. It's not easy because it's not easy, but it's a lot of learning, and the enterprise will have the opportunity to know different things, to see what is happening, and to can get to be a better enterprise after they have this year and a half that they're going to pass through. Is a very nice experience. Like how I say, it's not easy, but not that it's good, it's easy. But everyone that can able to have the opportunity to be in it, have to be in it because they will learn a lot.
The activity will be conducted in person by the companies involved in this program for approximately 1.5 years.
And with the purpose of helping to generate positive social impacts in the department through the youth, the Junior Chamber International will hold its leadership school on the island.
The youth organization Junior Chamber International will hold this weekend in the department its leadership school, through which it seeks to empower young people between 18 and 40 years old to address social issues on the island.
Nuestra organización está buscando volver a tener organización local.
Our organization is seeking to return to having a local JCI San Andres branch organization. We were present on the island until 2004, but unfortunately there was no generational change at that time and we could not sustain the movement on the island. With this visit, we seek to invite all young people who are interested in developing their soft skills in putting those skills at the service of the community to be transforming leaders. We will be having this meeting this Saturday in the auditorium of the Chamber of Commerce on Newball Avenue on the 4th floor from 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
During the event, the young people of the island will be able to learn about how to attend and manage community activities, help the economic reactivation, diversification of the workforce, and generate impact projects on environmental issues.
And more than 440 samples were applied during the month of September on the island. 15 of them were positive, according to the results obtained after implementation of the PRAS strategy.
The drop in the positivity of COVID-19 infection has been clearly noticeable. The Health Secretariat stated that the rate of positive cases on the island in September is 3.4%. These figures are evident in the result of the daily report issued by the Ministry of Health. Yesterday, 5 cases were added to the COVID report. This adds up to a total of 6,857 infections since the beginning of the pandemic in the department. In the last few days, there have been no deaths due to COVID-19.
And now let's learn about other facts that are making news in our brief news sections of today.
The Secretariat of Tourism conducted an awareness campaign for the prevention of commercial sexual exploitation of children and adolescents through talks to tourism service providers and visitors. They were provided with information on strategies to ensure the welfare of children and also invited to report when they witness this crime. Officials from the Office of Women and Gender, the Sports Secretariat in partnership with private companies provided a moment of recreational activities to the inmates of the prison New Hope. During the activity, they received psychosocial support as well as the donation of personal hygiene items.
Now let's continue with the weather forecast. The weather forecast for today, September 24, in the coastal area of the archipelago, the sky is mainly cloudy. Temperature is 29 degrees Celsius with winds from the northeast direction with intensities of 14 kilometers per hour. Humidity forecast is of 79% and probability of precipitation is of 14%.